private property rights, then yeah, you would allow them to do that. But the reason why that's not even worth talking about, because that's not what we're dealing with. We're not dealing with private institutions acting on their own behalf. No.
Today I wanted to touch on a topic that I'm sure all of us deal with from time to time, and that's internet trolling, crappy comments, stuff like that. You know, not necessarily like from the people you know are receiving criticism from other lifters or guys that, actually participate in the sport and are willing to have a conversation with you. I'm not talking about arguing with those guys or things of that nature, but just some of the really crappy comments that you tend to get when videos get over 1,000 views or some, maybe more. I know some of you guys are getting tens of thousands of views. Say you post a video of like one of your best lifts ever and can't wait to show everyone, and someone makes a comment on your gut sticking out. Oh my God, look at his stomach, the way it hangs out. I got that interior pelvic tilt and I have bad posture. And I forget to stand properly and my gut kind of hangs out. And I have a ripped six pack, so it's all muscle, but it still looks like I got a bit of a beer belly if I'm not standing straight. And I used to get so butthurt by that. Or my favorite one is like the bench arch that I use. I'll post a PR of a best ever bench, and someone will say, "Oh, that doesn't count because you have an arch in your back." And it's like, man, it took me years to learn how to do that. It's really hard to get into that position. It's like other power lifters are, they're all like, wow, that's awesome. But people that don't lift or, gym bros, they just find any reason to rag on any little thing they can. Of all the things to rag on, somebody's physical appearance, the things they can't control, like what you look like, how big your ears are, or, how, whatever, feet size, skin color. Like that, you don't comment on the way people look. That's out of their control. And I'm not talking about maybe if they need to lose weight and you're trying to be encouraging. I'm just talking about those crappy comments. But then over the last couple of years, I've noticed that most of those are just drive-by comments. I used to try to explain myself. I used to try to tell people, oh, I stand like that because of whatever, and they never even answer back. YouTube blocks most of those to begin with, which is actually a bummer. I don't block comments. I'll participate with discourse with anybody that's willing. And I used to get mad. It used to upset me. And even though we all act like we're stoic and nothing bothers us, everybody I talk to always says, "Oh, I don't care what anyone thinks." Really? You really don't care? Not even a little? You don't care what anyone thinks at all? Let's be honest. We kind of do care. Deep down inside, even if we kind of want to come off as these stone statues that are, fully independent and we're free-spirited and no one gives a crap, you gotta admit, you probably care a little. It used to hurt my feelings. And I found a better way to deal with it. I've kind of made a game out of it. The last deadlift video I posted, some guy was bagging on my tights, and I'm wearing tights. What's not to bag on? So I own it. I just said, man, you got to see me in my singlet, baby. You know what I mean? Something like that. I make a game out of it. When somebody says something angry or they make a crappy comment, I try to make a game out of it. I try to either get them to talk back or I'll compliment them or I'll say something funny or smart-assed. And, sometimes they'll respond and then I can get a conversation started. And if they do respond, I would say 9 times out of 10, I can turn the conversation into something positive. And I've noticed, instead of attacking back, which puts two people on the defensive, I like to ask questions. I like to ask, well, why do you think that? Bench arch. for example, almost 100% of the people, I'll ask them, well, why do you say the bench is bad, or the arch is bad? Is it unsafe? Like, where did you hear that from? Now, I know personally there's a mountain of, peer-reviewed medical evidence to suggest that the bench arch is healthy, and there's no risk with using it. As a matter of fact, it can be a lot safer. So knowing that, I know that they don't have an argument. They either heard it online, or it just looks like something they don't like. It's a personal opinion, but there's nothing to suggest that it's unsafe. So I know that their argument can't be sound, so they don't have one. And most of them, if you can get them to be honest, will admit that they don't have an argument. And that's like that with most things. It used to be like lifters that use straps. Like a guy would, deadlift 500 pounds and they have straps on. A lot of the powerlifting pages, they'll bag on them for using straps. And then, I just ask, what's wrong with using straps? And, you get them talking, and then next thing you know, you're talking about, this is, I'm doing sets, and I don't want to tear my hands up, so I use straps for my working sets, or the ones I'm doing multiples. And, it's illegal on the platform, so you can't have straps on, so maybe you get a suggestion. Well, then they start talking, and maybe you get some tips out of it. Well, if you remove the straps and improve your grip strength, you'll get a better deadlift. Get people talking. The point is to steer the conversation away from just angry responses and turn it into something positive. And what's cool about that is a lot of times, if you can get people to engage in conversation with you, you'll turn that into a subscription. They might come back. Or maybe it's just a guy that's just trying to be an ass and you'll never hear from him again. It's way too much effort to get upset with every little comment, but I don't know. It's still like, even to this day when I post a video of a personal record and I see that dislike has hit, I'm like, well, what's not to like about it? I hate it when people hit the dislike button, but they don't say why they don't like the video. But, as far as the trolling comments go, I don't know. I would rather just own it. If I'm dressed goofy or if I'm doing something stupid, well, why not own that? I'll turn it into something fun. The guy's like, I think your tights are gay. I'm like, that's not what your mom said. I probably shouldn't do that. That's probably a little antagonistic.